Quishbilly Huddersfield Town. The most famous goal of Quishbilly's life.
Is this the moment for Lee Fowler? It is. Take your place in Division 2, Huddersfield Town.
Thank you.
Champion Steve Simonson's boots now. He's missed. Steve Simonson clears the flame of the goal and collapses in a heap of tears. Huddersfield Town are promoted.
Mustafa Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello and welcome to episode 110 of The Warm-Up, getting you lubed up and primed for Huddersfield Town's big game against Sheffield United this Thursday. But what's this? No, I'm not Brady Frost. Unfortunately, due to some videos circulating on social media on fight accounts, it has come to light that Brady could have been involved with what can only be described as a fracas with a group of American teenagers who came off much worse after coming into aggressive contact with Frosty, the throwdown man. So we've had to take action of suspending Brady from the podcast until further notice, or until at least he gets back from his work trip to London, as it is. Right, so I'm your host, a man with more town caps than Kevin Nagel, Matt Shaw, and with me today, and I've always wanted to do this.
Do it.
So yes, with me today, I've got the wonderful duo. They're always fighting. Simpsons took inspiration from them. It's Tom and Jerry. How are we doing, guys?
I'm doing great, Matt. I love the intro. Thank you. I'm the mouse. I'm the one who wins. Let's keep that in mind.
Ah, dear. Anyway, will it be a catenaccio today? So how are we both? Are you good?
I'm doing great. You know, I got over a nagging cold. This bugged me for about a week and a half. If I take more sips of water than seems normal, that might be why. But I'm no better way to celebrate being healthy again than by doing the And He Takes That Chance podcast. I'm so excited to talk some town, y'all.
And are you excited for the American takeover of Huddersfield? You must be.
I am. I really appreciated Nagel tweeting out the picture of himself at the Sacramento Kings game with the Huddersfield Town hat on. It's like, you know, I would have described my reaction to the news as cautiously optimistic. And the more I see of Mr. Nagel, the more I read about him, the more I learn about him, the less cautious I am and the more optimistic I am. I mean, I do think there are concerns. You know, when you hear, okay, Town are being taken over by an American, is this the sort of American who has the sort of American mindset of sports ownership where, you know, the club is strictly a money-making enterprise? Is it simply here to, you know, try to become an asset that accrues financial value over time? Or is he actually here to, like, help Huddersfield Town, the football club? And, you know, it's such a little thing, putting on a hat to go, to this basketball game, but to the little thing that he didn't have to do, right? Like, he's conscious that this is his role now, that he is, you know, the Huddersfield Town owner, and that there are Huddersfield Town supporters who want him to express that and to fulfill that role, and that he's already very conscious of that is I think, a really good sign. Everything that we've heard, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the Sac Republic fan who we talked to on the pod a couple of weeks ago.
Samantha, I'm not sure.
Samantha.
Sorry, Samantha. Samantha's FC Cincinnati. Oh, she's going to hate me for that. She's FC Cincinnati, isn't it? I best re-record this. But so we had the Sac Republic podcast on, didn't we? And there's two people from there.
Yeah. He seems genuinely like the sort of guy who treat sports as something other than a means to a financial end. And, you know, Sac Republic have performed that way. They are currently top of the table in the USL. Now, of course, the USL is an extremely different animal from the EFL Championship, to say the absolute least. but he seems to be an owner with an eye for hiring the right people and getting them to perform their jobs in the right way. I'm excited. I when the news broke, I was, had a little bit of trepidation, but Nagel just seems like such, an upright guy who's done the right things. Like I said, the more I learn about him, the more excited I am.
Me too. I think everyone's cautiously optimistic, and there's a little bit of I think I said in the other podcast, it's a little bit maybe of Warnock hysteria. We're all drunk on Neil Warnock at the minute, but I think that the good nature. Oh, of course, the good nature is like that fine wine, the 74-year-old whiskey, isn't it? But the I think everything's kind of everyone's in a relatively good mood, but we could be in an even better mood or worse mood come Thursday. So we don't really need to set the scene so much for this, do we? Everybody knows what's happening. It's a Yorkshire derby. It's Huddersfield Town versus Sheffield United. The Blades are promoted. The second place, done, dusted, up they go. Town need 1 point to secure what 2 months ago was the most unlikely survival story that I think I've seen in 30 years as being a Huddersfield Town fan. So it's not going to be easy. Sheffield United may be promoted, but there's no let up, Tom. They're top of the form table, aren't we? In the last 6 and 10 games, they're right up there. They smashed Preston, didn't they, at the weekend?
Yeah.
How are we feeling on this? Because I was hoping that they would do a Burnley, but they don't. Everyone seems to be doing a Burnley when it comes to playing people at the bottom, don't they? Apart from the ones who play us, which is frustrating. Although Reading fans argued Cardiff through the game on Sunday. That was nonsense. But how are we feeling about this one?
Because Preston have looked pretty decent this last month or so, haven't they? So for Sheffield United to go and whack 4 past them, and it was a bit of a ooh. But Matt, I've been having a look at kind of their away form recently, and although they've been picking up wins, they've been tight games, and I'm just hoping. They had a bit of a celebration after Preston, and
you're hoping they've been on the piss all week. Is that what you're saying?
And they'll basically just be happy. It'd be a 0-0, and we can just have an enjoyable end of season, last game of the season. But it's not going to be easy, is it? But I'm still quietly optimistic that looking at their away form recently, that it'll be a close game, and hopefully we can just see out that point, really.
Because obviously they were in the semi-final of the FA Cup, weren't they? So they've had the semi-final, and then I think they've had a couple of league games in quick succession as well. So this is another league game on top of that, which was missed due to the FA Cup semi-final. I'm hoping that it's maybe a heavy rotation, but even when you look at the rotation options, they're still good, haven't they? That midfield where they've got Berger, they've got Tommy Doyle, who's done really well recently. They've got McAtee, they've got Ilman and Ndiaye, who's one of the best players in the league. They've got so much in there. Ollie Norwood can come in, and Ollie Norwood would be fantastic in our team at the minute because he's so experienced and he can just ping balls all day. And he's a much better player than the one that left us. Is it 10 years ago? It's almost 10 years, isn't it? So they've got a lot of riches there. That in defence, they've got a number of solid players. John Egan's back. Ahmed Odzic is fantastic. I think he's Bosnian, isn't he? The centre back. I've done that with no research, so if I'm wrong, I do apologise. So, Baldock at right wing back. It's such a team full of riches. Have I worried you, Jerry, with the riches of Saudi? The king, I think it's a Saudi prince. Is it who owns them?
I forget. Well, he's no Kevin Nagel. We know that. No, you just I pull up like their who scored. Roster for the season and go down. It's like, all right, well, let me find these soft touches, that they might rotate in. And it's like, oh, well, Billy Sharp doesn't play a lot. Oh, crud. Like, if they rotate in Billy Sharp, do I really feel like that much better? Riem Brewster, Jaden Bogle, I think when I've seen that kid, he's been really good for them. It's just like, even if they rotate, they're still putting out a really talented squad, like that can absolutely come in, to the John Smiths and win a game. Like that's what they're capable of. Certainly their attacking talent, I think, if Town is on point. I really, what does give me some optimism, particularly in the how seriously are they going to take this department, is that it is a Thursday night game, away. Like if they were playing in front of their fans, if they were playing on a weekend, with a little bit more sort of, build up to it, I think they'd be a little bit more likely to come out, and really say, all right, well, we have a job to do. Let's go out and do it. I'm a little bit more hopeful that, these midweek games can be so sort of, it's been rescheduled. They're done with their FA Cup run. They're done with promotion. I saw Heckingbottom said, his like rallying cry. I read this in, the Examiner, is that they're trying to finish with more wins than Burnley on the season. That they can't win the championship, but they can still have more wins than Burnley, which to me, if I'm a Sheffield United player, that's not really going to get my blood boiling, for this particular matchup. So, I'm hopeful that, especially it's for me, I'm with you, Matt, that like, you've talked about how not seeing Reading win for a long time makes you feel their due. I'm the other way with Sheffield United. I think they had a really good performance. Obviously, they, beat West Brom to get promoted. They had that great performance against Preston. I'm hopeful that they now feel like finally, okay, the season's to bed. This is a Thursday night game, away. We don't really have to put the pedal to the metal in this one. That's what I'm hoping. But there's no way to know. Like, there's no FIFA rating for like the team where it's like, oh, Sheffield United have professional pride rating 89 or whatever, So we kind of just have to wait and see.
I think with that in mind, Tom, you had a chat, didn't you, with one of my favorites, so Johnny Bamba Gascoigne from the Shoreham View. And Tom had a trip down to the Steel City, didn't you, and stole a few words with Johnny, and here's what he had to say.
Hi, this is Johnny from the Sheffield United fan channel, the Shoreham View. I've had a few questions from you lads, so I'll give them an answer now. Has this season lived up to my expectations? We got promoted. So, yeah, the short answer of it is, yeah. We had a few blips, but at the end of the day, we powered through. And I said any team that finished above us this season will finish first. Burnley. So I was right in that sense. So, whilst I've had my gripes this season, I can't complain with how it's gone. We do need to get some of this off-field drama sorted, because that could have really held us back. But no, I'm not going to moan too much. Happy played. Expectations met. We're in the Premier League. Who was our standout player this season? Iliman Ndiaye. How'd you look any further? We've had Anil Ahmedhodzic. He's been brilliant at centre-half. We've had other good players in the team. Sander Berger's just always brilliant. But you can't look past Ndiaye. He's just been outstanding. And now he's not one player of the season. I will never, ever, ever know. But then again, Michael Carrick also going to the top managers list, didn't he? So suss that one out. Prediction for Thursday. We finished off the home season with a flurry, 4-1 win over Preston. Best way to go out, really. This game is Neil Warnock, isn't it? So, as I think as one of your guys says, they could probably get a 1-0 lead to Huddersfield, and then Warnock could come and sit with us for the rest of it off and keep you up. Ideally, we want to keep winning. We want to finish the season as strong as we can and carry that momentum forward. But I do see it with you guys having a lot more to play for than us at this point, because we're already up. You may want it a bit more. So I can see a 1-1.
Okay, thanks to Johnny. Johnny's one of my favourites that we get the info from. He's a funny lad, is Johnny, and we'll miss him, won't we, Tom, next year? All the best to Sheffield United in the Premier League, and if you want to have a nice little parade and put your feet up and have a few pina coladas on the beach, then I think Thursday night is the night. It's rugby league night as well, Jerry, over here. So, you can stick the rugby league on and see, and watch some good rugby league. So, so as Brian Horton once said, it's not about what they do, it's about what we do. But terrible tactical negligence aside, I'll tell you what we'll do, and we'll take a break. But before we do that, let me tell you about Magic Rock Brewing. If you use our code of AHTTC10, you will get 10% off all orders at www.magicrockbrewing.com. And if you head there on Thursday, you may even see one or two of us before the game. So use that code, make the most of it, and get it down your neck, lads. Right then, guys, so let us move on. So the next part, Tom, is going to be the mailbag.
You've got mail.
What a jingle.
There we go. That's my favorite jingle. It is, yeah. So, right, let's have a look what we've got in the bag. Let's have a look, ruffle around in the old sack. And what do we have? We have one question this week from Liam Noble. And Liam says, number one, where should the statue of Warnock be put at the ground? And number two, in what pose should it be? I would want the 95 playoff final with him holding the trophy. So, there is a serious. I'm doing a article at the minute, which is I've got ChatGPT to name the best Huddersfield Town 11 of all time. And I've not finished it yet. I've been at it for about 10 days and it's hardly a masterpiece. But it did get me thinking that Huddersfield Town probably should have a statue of Billy Smith at the ground. There's one at Preston. Is it Blackpool where there's one tackling through the water, or is that Preston? And it's a brilliant one. I think it's Blackpool, isn't it? Where it's like a water.
Stanley Matthews. Yeah.
I can't remember. There's one somewhere, isn't there, where they're tackling through the water. I don't know if it's Preston with Tom Finney or whether it's Blackpool with Jimmy Armfield or somebody like that. But it's brilliant. I think that kind of does lack a little bit. I know it's a shared stadium, but I would like to see maybe a Billy Smith, or could we see a Neil Warnock if the job is complete? I like the Neil Warnock face away at Watford, where he kind of does that deadpan look to the camera and kind of goes, "It's about having a good manager, isn't it?" And that look for me needs to be crystallized somewhere, doesn't it? And just put on display in the Louvre or something. It's just an absolute marvelous piece of Neil Warnock deadpan humor, isn't it? And I love that. So for me, it's Neil Warnock's face and where he says, just about having a good manager. So I'll throw that over to the next one over to you, Tom, because we'll give Jerry a moment to have a think about whether he'd like to go playoffs or anything else.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that is a really good shout, Matt. I mean, in the classic would be in with the playoff trophy, though, wouldn't it? Outside the ground. You're right, though. It'd be nice if things are going to progress like outside the ground and things. It would be nice to have a few statues of legends dotted around, wouldn't it? Because it just makes it feel a bit more like a football ground then as well, and remembering your history and stuff. Even just little murals and things dotted around.
Don't get me started on this, mate. I have proposed via someone via the HTSA. I proposed this huge idea for Huddersfield Town. You're gonna get the soapbox is out. So
is there a diorama in your office there somewhere, Matt? We can't see where.
I know.
You got a little tiny John Smiths with all the different things you want to see and little figurines around the side of the thing there.
Oh, don't speak of figurines. My little boy's into wrestling at the minute and he's got absolutely loads of wrestling figures. But
sweet.
Anyway, yeah, so the Kilner Bank, when you sit in the Kilner Bank and you go back down the stairs, there's a huge wall of nothingness at the back. And what I suggested is very similar to what I think Man City have is you could do from the very start, from the left to the right, you could produce a mural of a timeline of Huddersfield Town, and then popping out of the timeline can be legends. You get to 1920s, you've got Herbert Chapman, you've got Billy Smith, you've got Sammy Wadsworth, George Brown scoring 150 odd goals, etc. You can get to the 50s, and you get Les Massey, his 60s, isn't it? Jimmy Glazard, Vic Metcalf, then Les Massey, then move on, Frank Worthington, all these players, 80s, Buxton, Steve Kindon, Ian Robbins, etc., Dave Cowlin. 90s, Boothie, Jepson, Bullock, and all these figures. And it would just be such a wonderful thing to go and look at, something that tells a story of Huddersfield Town. And obviously don't make it go all the way to the end because you can keep adding to it. But in the end, it kind of got pushed into that little thing that Peter O'Toole did in the Cowshed Loyal, which was pretty small in the end. But for me, that would be something spectacular and something that Huddersfield Town should strive to do. And I always think Huddersfield Town's a club that kind of, like when we're going on about the trophies, not trophies, the statues and things like that, they kind of do things down a little bit too much, and they don't sort of make like a big glorious show of what we've done. And we tend to talk ourselves a bit down much about the little dog, the small guy, the little dog, don't we? Enough of that. Kevin Nagel's in with his glorious mustache and hat. Let us show Huddersfield Town to everybody, and let's get the Kilner Bank wall done, and let's get a Billy Smith statue, and maybe Neil Warnock's picture at Watford, Tom, could go on that big mural if he keeps us up. What about you, Jerry? I've waffled. Do you know what? Jerry actually laid a few seeds there, didn't he, and got me on my soapbox to give himself a little bit of extra time, I think, there. So go on then, Jerry. Has he frozen, Tom?
He might have it. That internet getting over here might be a bit slow.
He was giving it the big one, wasn't he, about the router that he just got router. And but I think he's back now. He's smiling. There we go. Every time, Tom. Every time we get Jerry on that router Jerry lets him down something chronic. We'll come back to Jerry on that one, won't we? But yes, that's the mailbag. Just while Jerry's reconnecting or doing what he needs, I think it's important to say that the game on Thursday in the 61st minute, there's going to be a round of applause for a town fan called Stephen Brook, who is massively missed by his town supporting friends. So after the game, people are going to raise a glass at the Jules Verne. So feel free to pop along to that as well. So if you know him, and all the very, very best to him and his family. And hopefully Jerry will be back soon. So I think he's gonna reconnect, isn't he, Tom? So we're now into You're the Boss, aren't we? So does Brady have a jingle for this? I don't know. I don't think he does have a jingle for this. I think he's got jingles for pretty much everything down here.
I know, Brady. Come on, sort yourself out.
I know, he doesn't have it. But never mind. Probably for the best. Yes, so You're the Boss against Cat. Would you change anything from Cardiff, Tom?
I don't know, Matt, really. Probably not. I mean, I think people might call out Get Hungbo on, but I quite like him as a bit of a impact at the moment. I thought I know Cardiff were potentially on the beach as well, but I think it was all set up quite nice, wasn't it, really? I think it was really well balanced. And I actually think that was one of our better kind of attacking performances this season. I mean, you were there. I mean, I only saw it on the television. So, was you? I thought you were there. Sorry, was it Pos was there? Yeah.
No, Pos didn't go either. Do you know what?
I'm calling everyone out.
Let's call him out. Let's call Pozzer out. He was going to go to this game. His little lad begged him to go to Cardiff, but he decided not to go because he missed out on the free coaching. He is the tightest man that you will ever come across. He's a proper Yorkshireman, Jerry, is Pozzer, and I hope he listens to that. You let everyone down, Pos. But it gives someone else a chance to be on camera anyway.
All right. Am I back now?
Yes.
You're back, Jerry. Yeah.
All right. Have we moved on from the Neil Warnock discussion yet, or
if you've got a Neil Warnock discussion, you throw something in, mate.
I was going to say I would like a statue of the way I feel like I was introduced to Neil Warnock was of videos of him giving his team an absolute bollocking or bollocking. We don't say that in the locker. Am I allowed to say that on this podcast?
Do you know what would be really good? You've got me thinking that there should be like a room. Do you know, like they have a room in the stadium or a bar?
Yes.
And you can walk through, and then Neil Warnock bollocks you as you walk through the bar. That would be something special, wouldn't it?
That would be good.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just the expressions he has in these videos, and for these team talks, where he just cannot stand to look at these horrible players who have failed him so badly in the first half. Oh my gosh! And the fact that they know that he's giving them that treatment because he cares so much about winning, and he knows that they're capable of better than that. I feel, this has obviously been like an absolutely atrocious season. I cannot believe that I've had to see them draw that game against Blackpool, that I sat through that game against Preston, where they would not have scored if they had played 390-minute games. Like that Coventry game just made me want to lie down on the ball on the floor. But after all of that,
which one? Yeah, which one?
Well, the one in March that left them root of the table. Where we were all like, they're done. Stephen Chicken wrote they're done. And if Stephen Chicken is like, it's over, then you have very, very good reason to believe it's over, right? But now, Warnock coming in and doing the thing he's done, like as somebody who came to town much later than you guys, obviously, and you hear stories about what an incredible manager he was, how charismatic he is, the things he can accomplish, and then being able to experience that as a town fan now in 2023, seeing exactly what Warnock is like and seeing the impact he can have on a team firsthand has been so tremendously special. And I will be beyond devastated if they don't finish this off with a point and get to safety. Like, surely this story that we've all gotten to experience and that I feel like I've been lucky to experience over the last 2 months. Surely this cannot end with them actually being relegated. This is why I feel more optimistic about the Sheffield game and about the Reading game than maybe I should, because they're playing Sheffield United. They're second in the league for a reason. They're getting promoted for a reason. Reading, if they don't get a point against United, Reading are going to come in knowing they have absolutely nothing to lose. They're going to throw absolutely everything they can at us. That game, the thought of it terrifies me. Take my spleen.
Jerry,
you're breaking up little bits there, Jerry. We heard spleen, which was enough, I think, for what we
in exchange
for what we need
for a point.
But,
right.
What we'll do is we will okay. Right. So Town against Cardiff was we were just talking about that briefly with Tom. It was a good performance away, and I think this is probably going to be another one where it's kind of cagey, isn't it? And Town are really going to have to look after that midfield, aren't they? Especially in that sixth position. So I'm wondering whether they might even throw in Romani Edmonds-Green back into this one. Diarra might take a step back out. Romani Edmonds-Green decent in that sixth role, along with you likes a Hoggy in there, or he allows Hoggy just to be a bit higher, doesn't he? So maybe he will pick up, and you've got if Ndiaye plays obviously, and Berger, etc. You need a little bit of strength in there, don't you, to deal with them? And is Romani Edmonds-Green that? Can Kasumu do that? Thankfully, I'll bow to Neil Warnock's decision on and everything that he's done. Even Lee Nichols on Sunday, he's thrown Lee Nichols in, and everyone was, a lot of us were like, that's a big call. He's not played for 4 months. He's going to be rusty. Vaslik's done okay, and then Nichols. I think some people were a bit harsh maybe on the goal. Maybe a fully fit Nichols might have saved it. I don't know, but.
It's so close, man. It's so close, isn't it?
He's pulled off a save at the end, which is decent and won us the game. So can't argue too much. And whatever Neil Warnock does, I'm generally going to be happy with, I think. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? So I'm just going to leave it to the great man and see what whiz. Score prediction. Do you know what? This is Huddersfield Town, isn't it? It just feels like, we're 2-0 up against Cardiff. Jaheim Headley's got a virtual open goal, hasn't he? And it comes back at him, and it's difficult, isn't it? It's not like he's missed a Ronnie Rosenthal or anything like that, is it? It's come back off the post at him at pace. He's hit the bar. That 3-0 gives us such a good platform, and we probably win that game 3-4-0 then, don't we? And then goal difference isn't an important thing. It just feels like we're going to lose to Sheffield United and then have the last game where everything rides on it. Reading will go 1-up, and then all of a sudden we'll be in the process of being relegated before we come storming back or something. So for me, Huddersfield Town don't do things the easy way. They piss me off. They don't do it the easy way, Tom. We haven't been automatically promoted since 1983. It's playoffs or nothing, and we always take the hard option. And I would love it if we got the point on Thursday and just took the easy option. We don't do that. We just don't do it, do we, Tom? We just don't do these things. So for me, I feel like we're going to lose just because we don't do things the easy way. The easy way would be just to get the point and then, cigars out on Monday. But Huddersfield Town don't do it. So I'm a little bit worried we're going to lose the game. I'm always worried we're going to lose the game. You know what I'm like.
You are.
I do think we can get the draw, but I've just got that nagging 30-odd years of Huddersfield Town experience that tells me that we don't do things easily. We will not win. We will not get a point from this game because it has to go to the last game because it's Huddersfield Town. And we have to put the fans through the ringer. We have to make them suffer. This is what we do. So it genuinely feels like, even though we've got the great Neil Warnock, we're going to lose. And then we're going to go 1 down against Reading. And then and then all of us have our hearts in our mouths for 40, 50 minutes or something and have a miserable, then happy day on Monday. But please, Tom, tell me I'm talking nonsense.
Right, I'm gonna make you feel a bit better here. historically, Matt, I'll say this quietly, we're a little bit of a bogey team for Sheffield United.
Touch wood.
Touch wood. When you look at his record against them, it's not that bad. I mean, we've been playing for a long time, over 100 years. I couldn't believe that. It's mad. Like, you forget how long football's been going on, don't you, sometimes? But yeah, I think we're winning the head-to-head 42-30, so it's not terrible. There's your little positive. But Matt, I'm gonna say I think we can get this draw. I think, and I don't want to put it out there, but I just, it's really difficult to say players are on the beach and that, because they're professional footballers and they should always be going out and doing their job. But it's Sheffield United, it's Warnock's club, he's a legend there as well. It's like Heckingbottom and Stuart McCall know him and stuff. It's like I'm not saying they're going to make sure it's a draw, but
it's subconscious. Do you think it's a subconscious?
Yeah, thing? I think there'll be a bit. I think it'll just. There's
be a lot
weird
of Sheffield
atmosphere.
United fans hate him. It's bizarre. There's a lot of hate for Neil Warnock in Sheffield. It's from Sheffield United fans. It's really weird. I don't understand why. I don't understand why it is. But
he's a fan of them, isn't he, as well? So it's like, it's going to be really. I think it'll be a weird atmosphere, which might play in our advantage, where it potentially almost feels a bit more like a friendly more than anything. Hopefully, calms things down, and we just see it out 0-0, Matt. That's what I'm going for, and I'll be buzzing straight to Magic Rock after, if it's open.
It might be close. I think it's close. It might actually. I don't know if it's 10 or 11.
I'll run up that hill.
All right, Kate Bush. Right, so Jerry, are you back with us, or are you still having router issues?
I think he's frozen again.
Yeah, he's having router issues. Is Jerry, isn't he? I think we should crowdfund him a new one, don't you, Tom?
I know. Yeah, so do I.
Right, so we'll get Jerry to reconnect. And
maybe maybe if he can write down his score on a piece of paper
and hold it up.
It up.
He's giving up. Look. He's kind of like slow frame rate, giving like a robot, isn't it? Giving.
Jerry, hold up your fingers. What score do you think it'll be? This is great podcasting as well, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if you're listening. Oh, he's gone. What have you done?
He's gone again.
He's gone. He'll come back. Let's do Kwana's questions, I think, while so Tom, you're going to do Kwana's questions, and of course, Brady's got a jingle.
A few things change, but also a lot of things are still the same.
There we go.
A few change.
And we'll go for it again.
I think that one needs work. Definitely needs work, that one. Right. What's
Kwana's question?
Go on then.
The question was, Matt, this week, what's your favourite memory / moment when HTFC have played Sheffield United? So topical, obviously. So we had a number of responses. Mark Harrison says it has to be the playoff final penalty shootout. I mean, that comes up quite a lot, obviously. But his favourite memory is of the class that the Sheffield United players showed when they applauded the Town fans after their defeat, and they came around the whole stadium, didn't they? And were applauding everyone. Colwell's last-minute winner, Liam Noble, says that was pretty good, as well as the playoff final.
Yeah, it was decent.
Nick also mentions the Colwell winner. Here we go. Terrier 1964 says, as an alternative to the obvious, the first time I went to Bramall Lane be about 1981, and Steve Kindon ploughing through the mud to score 2 late goals in a 2-2 draw. He was an awesome sight with a full head of steam up. Full head of steam up? I mean, I don't know what that means, but...
Head of Steam, good pub, isn't it? Head of Steam.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Up at the station.
I've heard good things about Kindo at Sheffield United. I think that was during their promotion runs, wasn't it? That sort of era.
Yeah, I mean,
era,
take him on coming on Thursday night and getting us a 2-2 draw, wouldn't you?
Kindo, he'd give it a go with Kindo. He was some specimen.
And then Scott Bradley says also a 3-0 win at their spot in 2011, the season that we went up on a Tuesday night. Brilliant days. Lee Novak with 2 and Oscar Goben before half time.
The grouch. I think Alan Lee and Lee Clark used to rotate. He used to like Alan Lee and Lee Novak up front just to harass. What an awful duo that used to play against. Alan Lee elbowing you, Novak chasing you. That's a horrible sort of
it's
day for a defender, isn't it? For a League One defender, Jerry has WhatsApp me. He says predictions 1-1. Don't know if you could see that, but unfortunately, Jerry, we couldn't because it was all frame rate. He's blaming the Chromebook. I think it might be when you use these browser-based software, things like StreamYard. It can it can really hammer your web browser, and then it'll cause your laptop to overheat. So maybe it was that. But So what about your favourite memory, Tom? You must have a favourite memory from Sheffield United. Maybe it's something
from Sheffield
true.
United. I actually, I did those like football timelines a few years ago, and this isn't. It's my favourite memory of Sheffield United. I ended up doing a Sheffield United one when Wilder took them up twice, and I got in. Danny Grant. They're not Danny Grant. Danny Holt, maybe. I can't remember the writer's name. He wrote a book about it, Matt. But I did some artwork for that. There's my favourite then. But you can't beat playoff final. That was actually possibly from how much I enjoyed that day. Because after the Premier League one, I was absolutely knackered and just went home. Whereas after the Sheffield United one, it was just it was just a better night out. All the town players were out.
Younger back then.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Same as well. I went out after the Sheffield United one in Huddersfield, and the other one, I was too knackered. I had to go home and lie down. But things that stand out for Sheffield United. I remember vaguely late 1990s. I think Jacko might have been manager at the time. There was a 1-0 win at home, and it was right at the end when Wayne Allison scored. The Chief. He managed to score a last-minute winner against Sheffield United at home, 1-0. That was quite good. I remember losing to them on Sky. I think it was on Sky. It was on TV. I think it was 95, 96, and Jostein Flo scored if you remember him, scored for Sheffield United. And Ronnie Jepson scored for us, and it was and I just remember being really sort of salty about their goal because he headed it, and it was going wide, and it spun back in the goal. It was absolutely bizarre. So I get really, really salty about other teams getting luck. Jerry's back. Yeah. So here we go. Jerry is back. Look.
We're trying. We're making an effort.
All right, we don't know. But Jerry, you said 1-1, didn't you, for your prediction?
I did. I see this game being even towards the end, and I really think if that's the case, I think Tom touched on it earlier. Sheffield United, I don't think they're going to make the extra effort. I think they're going, they probably got about an hour's worth of effort in them, right? I think if Town can get into those last 20 to 30 minutes with the game even, I really don't see United going all out. To get a winner. That to me doesn't seem like the way it's going to go. Obviously, Town are going to be delighted with a draw at that stage. I think both teams are going to kind of be like, okay, this is fine if they can get to that point. I think Karoma's due for another goal. I think, that shot he had, against Cardiff absolutely deserved the goal, hitting the post. I think he's got one in him. So I'm going to say Karoma puts them up 1-0. United get one back late in the first half, and then it goes to 1-1 at the end. So fingers crossed, all the toes crossed, etc.
This will be out 100%, Jerry, if he does the conch, as you call
it. The conch.
Yeah. The conch.
Conch?
Yeah. Conch. I also got a jingle for that, but it's not very good.
Conch.
Conch. I'll tell you, conch's a nose. Conch is what Alan Lee's elbows used to aim for.
Have you ever had conch fritters, you guys?
No.
They're quite good. If you ever visit Key West, Florida, get the conch fritters. They're delicious.
So wait, is this a conch like a conch fritter? Jerry?
No, I mean, I would normally just call it a conch, but when in Rome, you guys call it a conch, I'll call it a conch on the podcast.
You have one of these things here, and there's like chips coming out of them. Is that what you're saying? What are fritters? They're like grits. What are grits?
Okay, yeah, you take the animal out of the shell and then you fry it. Pretty simple.
Okay.
With like some, salt and seasonings and stuff, and dip them in a little bit of sauce. They're good.
I'm all about the seafood. I do love some good seafood, so I'm up for that. Absolutely up for that. I think that's pretty much all we've got time for. We were talking about favourite Sheffield United memories, Jerry. I don't know if you have one particularly. Not been a Town fan for ages, but there were things like Colwell's last minute equaliser, last minute winner even. Last season, the 2012 playoffs. A couple of good wins, in and amongst. We used to get them in midweek for some reason, didn't we? Sheffield United. It was always a midweek game, which was annoying.
Yeah.
Anything stand out for you?
The Steve Simonson penalty shootout victory, because it was on TV. Like, this was back when there was no such thing as like, oh, I'll just turn on my iFollow stream and watch it. Like, I'm an American Huddersfield Town fan that was, I think, the first time I'd gotten to see them in 2 or 3 years since the Arsenal FA Cup tie where Alan Lee scored to equalize there in the second half. Like, back then, if you're an American and you want to watch Huddersfield Town on TV, you've got like a 2 to 3 year wait between fixtures that are good enough to appear on American TV. And so that playoff final, I was so excited about it. And then it ended up being such a terrible game. Like, you could just feel the heat radiating out of one's television set. The players, it was clear that there was never going to be a goal in that game, it felt like. But it all ended up perfect in the end. I got to watch it. I got to watch Huddersfield Town get promoted. The first ever tweet I sent out about Huddersfield Town was about that game after it had finished. So that's it there.
Yeah, so Huddersfield Town were an absolute enigma, aren't we? We've reached 4 playoff finals since we scored in one, and we haven't scored in the last 4 playoff finals, which is amazing, and won 2 of them. So there we go.
So who needs goal?
What we do. It is 4, isn't it, Tom? It's not 5. We had 95, didn't we? Bristol Rovers, and then it was. We didn't get to another final until 20.
3.
Cardiff. Cardiff, yeah.
So,
Cardiff, obviously, yeah. So Cardiff, so there's Cardiff.
But we didn't score in that either.
No, we didn't score in that. So it is 5. So there's Cardiff, there's Old Trafford with Peterborough where we lost 3-0. Then there's Sheffield United, Reading, and Nottingham Forest. So yeah, 5. So, and we won 3 of them. So there we go.
Incredible.
So what a team.
What a club!
We do not do things the easy way. This is why I don't see it. We just don't do it easy. We're just an absolute bunch of assholes. That's what we are. But anyway, it's just coming back for more, doesn't it? So I think that's all we've got time for this week, isn't it? So, Jerry, it's always great to catch up. Tom, who's catching who? I don't know, but hopefully it'll be more than a game of cat and mouse come Thursday, and Huddersfield Town stroll to success and get the cream. But guys, it's been great fun. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. Brady will be wanting to be back on though, won't he? But thanks, guys, and up the town.
Up the town.
Up down.
There's a team that is dear to its followers. Colours are bright blue and white. They're a team of renown, and they're the pride of the town. And the game of football is their delight.
Sing it, Tom.
And all the while upon the field of play, thousands loudly cheer them on the way. Often you can hear them say, who can beat the town today? And then the bells will ring so merrily, And every goal shall be a memory. So town, play up and bring that cup back to Huddersfield. So town,
They should play
play
this
up
at the end of every game.
and bring the cup back to Huddersfield.
We're Yorkshire, we're Yorkshire, we're Yorkshire.